Well, thanks for joining us, everybody, and welcome to the Accu-Stats Arena here in the beautiful Marriott Hotel in Chesapeake, Virginia. It's the 39th U.S. Open 9-Ball Championships, and you're looking at Justin Hall on your screens there, and his opponent, Karl BOYES. It's a transatlantic clash of titans, two young guns of the game, very formidable foes. We're going to be seeing some firepower out there today, and very happy to be joined by Mark Wilson, and as the captain of the Mosconi Cup team for Team USA this year. Mark, you're going to be keeping a watchful eye on this match, aren't you?
Yeah, I'll be as impartial as possible, but I do have one of my candidates here. Very proud of him, and naturally I like to scout our potential opponents. Karl very well could make up a part of the Team Europe. He's won the lag in breaking.
Yeah, you got that right. Karl and his partner Darren Appleton. I think that Scott Smith introduced him as a former World Cup champion. They're the reigning World Cup champions. Ian Darren just recently won that event a couple weeks ago on the south coast of England. And the two in off the break, but no real favors with regards to the one.
The one thing, by virtue of coming in here off that big win with Darren, his confidence has got to be sky high, and he's played well in a unbelievably tough field. We were talking about it before the match. This would be too close to even fancy one side or the other.
Yeah, this could all be determined. Could all be determined by the break, the success or lack thereof on the break.
The way the balls are arranged, it almost looks like a prearranged drill or something here. A couple hangers, a couple awkward ones.
And Karl's just having a little think about where to push on this.
There's two hangers. It's hard to push on this thing. This is one of the times where he's made balls, and he's actually the underdog in this game. I don't think he wanted to put that up by the side pocket. But we'll see. He kind of flips his wrist as if he's dissatisfied.
He walks back to his chair.
Justin has just been dominating his opponents. I mean, it's great breaking, and I've watched him. His ball speed's impeccable. He's really emerged, originally from Hamel, Illinois. His brother used to come into my pool room years back.
Yeah, he's got a couple huge wins for me under his belt. I mean, he beat Nick Vandenberg, who's one of the strongest European players that came across the Atlantic here, beat him 11-7. Then he just took out Daryl Peach, another former World 9-Ball champion, also by an 11-7 score. But for me, that 11-4 win over Alex Pagulayan, I mean, this guy just has beat a host of world champions en route to this match with Karl.
What a shot. What a shot. This is typical of the way his matches have gone. Used to live in Hamel, Illinois. He now lives in Tampa, Florida. When he was around Hamel, I knew him just as strictly a 9-ball player. Then the next thing I know, he's won the all-around at the Tunica tournament, which bank pool, one pocket. It was unbelievable. Really emerged once he moved to Florida.
Well, he's taken balls down, shortening his path to the finish line. The only blemish on his card would be an 11-8 loss to Canada's Jason Klatt.
Move the 7 away from the side pocket out in the open. Everything looks like smooth sailing from here. Doesn't need to do anything special here. Just a stop shot would suffice, or if he wants to pull it back an inch or so.
Yeah, there's not a lot that's going to be different if these two do make up the Mosconi Cup teams on America and Europe. They're going to be playing on a table that's going to be exactly the same as this, just the venue is going to be a little different.
Yeah.
It'll be a raucous crowd in the North Shore in Blackpool.
Super long bridge. Oh, J. Hall. Yeah. He did not want to start off that way.
and neither one of them by any means certainties on the Mosconi Cup teams. Karl is one of 4 Europeans still left in this event, and the U.S. Open for me is going to be one of the last measuring sticks for the selection committee, and certainly from the American side as well. But Karl Boyes takes the first rack. It's a race to 11 still. The one-loss side.
Jim was talking about how 8 of the top 10 point getters on Team Europe was here in this field, and he was talking about the quality of play here, and we've witnessed that. The standard's higher than ever.
Yeah, we've been seeing a lot of the Accu-Stat ratings regularly over 900. I mean, the standard has been so high. I've always said the U.S. Open's the toughest tournament on the planet to win. This is the best field I've ever seen as long as I've been coming here.
We had one match earlier today where the winning player did not miss any balls.
Yeah, Earl Strickland was at the wrong end of that one. Waleed Majid. Never heard of him? Well, you will. And just because you haven't heard of them, that means nothing. As you see, Karl with a successful break and a pretty good look at the one. And even Tony Drago coming across to play in the U.S. Open this year. He says he's seen about 15 to 20 Americans he never heard of. And he said they're all great players.
But we're working on that. We want to improve our talent level over here for sure. Needs to get the cue ball back right where it's at now. Good job there.
The match that really made a statement, you've already alluded to it, Mark, was his 11-1 win over his partner, Darren Appleton, one of Europe's very strong competitors, now making his home just outside Philadelphia on the outskirts. I feel like saying Allentown.
Just got married, just won a big tournament. What kind of a year is he having? Likely candidate for the Mosconi Cup, Darren Appleton, as well as Karl Boyes. His hometown is in Blackpool, England, where it'll be held.
Yeah, both he and Daryl Peach. Well, Daryl Peach is already out, but, I mean, he's got added incentive. That just means that he'll be either getting or paying for a lot of tickets.
Yeah.
Used to play a lot of English 8-ball. Is actually his partner, Lynette Horsburgh, is a former English 8-ball world champion. And I know Lynette will probably be watching this online and cheering very hard for her man.
This would be his first break and run out.
2-0. Boise in control. That was a bad miss. It's cost Justin Hall 2 racks and counting.
We often discuss the ramifications of unforced errors, and it's on with the pros that play this level. It's in excess of one game. It averages somewhere between 1.1 and 1.2 games.
A mistake.
Yep.
Interesting, Mark.
And oftentimes kicking for your life when you come back.
I always wonder how the psychology of how players, especially when you get down to the business end of a tournament such as this, how players approach matches, because Justin, well, he enters this having won a host of matches over Pagulayan, Jeremy Sose, Nick Vandenberg, Daryl Peach, whereas Karl Boyes comes straight to this match after losing to Shane Van Boning. So you wonder what the psychological edge, if there is one, would it fall to Justin? Wow, that's a great break.
Sure is. 3 balls down, shot on the one. Yeah, I don't know how the edge would fall, but it's certainly great to get some big stage experience for Justin Hall.
Tricky shot here. He tries to feather this into the side pocket.
This is one of these that he could make, but if you try to play position with it, it increases the difficulty so much that maybe you're better off to just cinch it. If he cinches it, he'll probably have to go into the 4-ball with the cue ball from the 3. He did not cinch it. Certainly deserves a round of applause.
Yeah, none forthcoming. Boy, the way that he played that, he made that shot about 3 times harder. Loaded the cue ball up with right-hand spin. He got exactly where he wanted to. It almost looked like he could have floated it in and ended up pretty close to here, Mark.
Yeah, I'd have been a hair aggressive. As long as you don't miss, though. I like that shot. Didn't try to go into it and bump it around. Just take what the table will give you. This particular shot, this is how clean do you hit the pocket. You have to thread the cue ball between the 9-ball and the corner pocket on the far end of the table. I don't think it likely that he would go after bumping the 9-ball to hold the cue ball. Textbook.
Well, he's got to clear that 9 here, and I'm not sure he's going to. Brought the 9 into the equation there. Not a fan of that shot. He could have floated that one in and left the cue ball in the middle of the table, left himself a cut at the 5. He tried to get a little too fancy there. And now he's going to have to kick at this and try and make it.
Two cushions makes that 5-ball play bigger to the pocket. Plus it offers some separation.
Well, his turn to give one back to, as you call him, J. Hall.
His real nickname is Hollywood. That's how he goes by on the team. Justin Bergman and Justin Hall, a couple of our youngest guns.
Does he do anything away from pool, Mark?
Not that I'm aware of. He pretty much lives on the table. Has a nice little family. Has a little girl, real cute girl.
Knocks the 9 in and secures his first rack of what he hopes will be a string of 11. 2-1 still to Karl Boys. But Justin will break in rack number 4. It's always nice to get that first one under your belt. They always say the first and the last racks are the toughest to win.
One thing about Justin Hall, he's a very hard worker, student of the game, surprisingly so. Possesses a great break. We have a radar gun that we use at our training facility. He's chronically right around 26 miles an hour, maybe a little north of that sometimes. He's very coachable too, Jim.
That's very important.
It is, yeah. I really like it. He asks questions. He's interested. He wants to become a better player. And this is the part that I really love. Full of confidence, but not boastful. Just feels like he can go out there and do it. You hear some guys try to pump themselves up talking about how great they are to make, to convince you, but really to convince themselves. He doesn't do that. He lets his cue do the talking.
Good, solid break.
Yeah.
Park that white ball right in the middle of the table, and he's going to reap the rewards. That's interesting, Mark, when you say a player is coachable. I always remember a friend of mine had a buddy who was a pitching coach for the Kansas City Royals, who just happened to be in the World Series this year.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the one thing he mentioned that they look for in young players, is they want to know they're teachable. He said they want to have the physical attributes, the rest they can teach.
Yeah, when you look at the young players on the Team USA, you got Schuff and Bergman, Hall, extremely coachable.
I've never met Justin Hall or Justin Bergman. Brandon Schuff, obviously, I know, and you're going to have trouble finding a nicer guy anywhere on the tour. If these two are anything like him, it's going to be a very enjoyable few months that you're going to be spending with these guys leading up to the Mosconi Cup, and that you've spent.
Yeah, it has been. They like to laugh and have a good time. Oh, boy, here, Hollywood, what you got going on? I live in a little bitty town, 100 people, prairie town, so I call him up and I go, Hollywood, what's up? And he goes, what's up, prairie town? 100 people. I moved there because I wanted to be the best player in town. Looks good right now. He's top 3.
On your street. That's what a buddy of mine in Toronto always used to say. He says, I'm the best player in the country. And then when I head into the city, I'm having a few problems. Yeah, a bit of a let-off, though. And Karl's going to want to try and regain the initiative in this rack.
This particular shot is so typical of so many games at the pro level. These are the type of innings that you begin with. You don't get nice open shots to get your Accu-Stats working. You have to earn those opportunities.
This is a chance, you bet it is.
Looks cuttable.
A little bit of a hiccup from Karl. Justin really wants to capitalize on this.
What I've observed of Karl's game, it's not his offense, it's these aspects. He's not quite as strong as the really, really top dogs on the maneuvering the balls around.
But he's full of confidence, as is, I'm sure, Justin as well. I know Karl very, very well, and he's got a tremendous amount of self-belief.
Mm-hmm.
And when the pressure's on, he wants to be there. And that's important, too. He hit the last 9 ball when he and Darren won the World Cup of Pool. And he's taking his extension. These players have to be mindful of that 40-second shot clock you see winding down on your picture there.
Justin's just a little bit out of his real good rhythm that I've seen most on display, mostly this week.
Oh, that's a great shot. But he's not going to be happy where the cue ball is going to land. Life isn't coming easy right now for Justin.
Kind of funny, too. They're both from the same area, Bergman and Hall, and they both play juniors pool together, and they pals. They're like brothers.
And you've known him for a long time.
I have.
chance for Karl here again.
Good shot.
All the European players, if you watch their technique, so many of them grew up watching all the snooker players on television back in the UK, certainly the British players, and snooker really emphasizes sound fundamentals. When you look at players like Darren Appleton and Karl here, Chris Melling is another one, Daryl Peach, they all deliver that cue so sweetly through that white, always on the intended line.
Brush the 9, use that to his advantage to work the cue ball a little bit closer to the object ball.
And they're also proponents of staying very still on the shot, too. You can see he gets his chin right down low, very similar to what a snooker player looked like. And they kind of force themselves to keep that head still and the eye on the ball. Usually a formula for success. And it's a 3-1 lead to boys.
It's hard to beat the snooker firepower, when you have that super accurate shot and then translate it to your pool skills.
That's when Alex Pagulayan made the transition from a very good player to a great player, and he won the World Championship a year after when he started playing snooker. And, back in the early 2000s, he played in a couple tour events, open tour events that a good buddy of mine, Cliff Thorburn, and I were running right across Canada. And Alex played in a few of those, and so he was competing against the best snooker players in the country. And within a year, I saw his game make the transition, and it was due mainly in part to his fundamentals being improved.
Would you say that to take a pool player and make him a snooker player, that's quite a challenge? I take an elite pool player because it's such a different skill set.
Mark, I mean, my whole background revolved around snooker, but I've been, pretty much ingrained in pool the last 10, 15 years. What I like from the pool players and the pool community that I've seen is they're harder mentally. Like they're much more capable of withstanding, stupid things happening on the table.
Yeah.
That as a snooker player, you might only see something like that once a year.
Yeah.
These guys can weather that. They're from a psychological standpoint, I think they're a lot stronger than the snooker players. But the snooker players fundamentally are more sound.
Oh, way stronger. I always dreamed of what if I had snooker firepower and my knowledge of the game. How strong would that be?
Yeah, and again, your psychological strength from your years playing pool, professional pool. You know how to win. A lot of these guys out here, they know how to win, and that's the difference. He needs this 2 to go in. If it doesn't, Justin's got a chance.
One time I was playing Jimmy White, and I had a very difficult shot. And I'm a proud guy. I ramped up the intensity, and I had some trepidation. It was so difficult and made it, and I was kind of proud of myself. And then after the game, Jimmy says, "Could I have a go at it, mate?" And I said, "Okay." And he got up there and whistled it in so effortlessly. And I just remember the casualness of his approach and the trepidation of mine. And it suggested you go up there fearing, and he goes up there trained to much stricter standards. How would you miss is his attitude. It was refreshing. Overcut it?
I just fear that Justin hasn't settled into this yet, Mark. And, his body language, it just displays a guy that's still fighting it a little bit. It's a big stage, and this is a big match, and they know that you're not far away watching either, believe me.
Well,
but that's the kind of pressure they need to be playing under.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be way more intense later on. He's fine. But I do agree. He's just a little bit out of sync right now. And sometimes you have to learn to win ugly to become an elite player anyway. So this is part of it. It's up against a guy that has a lot of firepower. Be a good test.
And even though he's not a lot there's not a lot of difference in age between these two. Big difference in experience on the international stage. But what would this title mean to either one of these two players?
Oh, it'd be an enormous boost in their confidence, even without the prize.
Everything else would almost be secondary.
Mm-hmm.
Probably wouldn't sleep for about 3 days. The 4 European players still alive in this year's Open. Still Darren Appleton and Torsten Homan. They're fighting their way through on the left-hand side of the draw, but Nick Economopoulos, Nick the Greek, he's still alive. Last 4 remaining in the winner's bracket. Mind you, he's got a tiger by the tail in Francisco Bustamante, his next match. And if you want to know who's going to be coming up on our Accu-Stats screens here after this match, well, you don't go too far. It's going to be the South Dakota Kid versus RoboCop. Shane Van Boning versus Dennis Orcolio. That'll be the next match that you're going to be treated to. A winner's side battle royal.
Yeah, there's no let-up on feature matchups.
Not in this event, not this year. Champions abound. And Karl BOYES increasing his lead 4-1 over Justin Hall. He's looking to get a little payback for Justin taking out his buddy Daryl Peach in the preceding round. Karl's ranked number 18 in the WPA World Rankings. And in the European rankings, he's at number 6. So this event will go a long ways. And he's also got to be keeping a little bit of an eye on what Economopoulos does too, because Economopoulos is ranked number... He's ranked number 2, right behind Mark Gray. And Mark Gray has already been nominated for the Mosconi Cup. So he's a former snooker player. You're going to left-hander, you're going to have to keep your eyes open for him. You know, very solid under pressure. And if Justin makes his way to the Mosconi Cup for Team America, he'll meet Mark Gray. Very nice and very competent player. And that's what Karl BOYES is trying to do right now. He wants to win this event and secure a berth on the Mosconi Cup team for Team Europe. Ball down off the break, and needs that 2 to bounce. Not much of a window for the 3, though, and that's why he shrugs his shoulders.
Right before this match, we were attending the Hall of Fame induction ceremony of Jose Perica and Mika Immonen. That was a wonderful tilt and great speeches, a lot of laughter. All the other Hall of Fame members that are here were in attendance. Pretty classy. BCA does a good show.
Yeah, hats off to Mike Panozzo. What a job he does pulling all that together.
Thankless job.
How impressed were you with how he handled Ralph Souquet when he forgot to introduce Ralph? He never missed a beat. He says, well, Ralph Souquet, what can you say? I mean, it was classic.
Yeah,
but
Mike's got a good wit.
Oh, tell you what, Mike is, he's a legend. he forgot one, and he's becoming one. Well, as I said, that 3 is that's the key ball in this rack. No real value in even securing the 2 here. And that was a mishit. He didn't attempt to make that. He was trying to get that cue ball behind the 9. He just caught it a little thicker than he wanted. And he's left. Actually, he's left Justin an angle on this. Mark, I wonder if he feels like taking that cue ball up table and maybe even trying to come down and develop things down by the 3 and 4.
I think he has to attack the 3 ball with the cue ball here. We're on a player timeout.
Well, the players have re-entered the arena. And Justin Hall with an opportunity here as he looks at the 2, and he'd like to take that cue ball off that top cushion and bring it right down here and find position onto that 3. Certainly got the angle to do it, and he's had plenty of time to think about it.
I think he'll float in there pretty with light speed. Yeah, like this. And if he doesn't like his shot that he gets, look at that great shot. That's a nice way to come. Oh, if he just doesn't bump that.
Spoken. Mark, listen, you're going to be living all. Just get used to this. This is what it's going to be like for you.
No, it was perfect speed, though. And because now you can defend yourself if you don't like what you get. And I'll tell you another thing. One of the reasons he's on this team is that this kid can really bank. And if it gets to a tactical game, and his one-pocket skills might come into play also.
Yeah, when you're so close, though, you got to be careful. That cue ball. Yeah, I think he's taken a more prudent option here. You know, the safety was guaranteed.
Yep. The other part of this is that it exploits the weakest part of Karl's game. I'm not saying it's weak. I'm just saying Karl's great for ball pocketing and breaking, running out. But this part of his game, not as strong.
Yeah, this isn't the easiest safety in the world right here either. He's not happy, and he's gotten lucky for the moment, but I think Justin's going to be bringing the short cue out.
Well, first Justin's going to take a look at rail first, just because that would lead to the 4 ball. I think the jump cue is much tougher to get on the 4.
I don't think he's got that right-hand cushion, though, Mark.
No, he'd have to mass A to it. I'm just saying he's going to measure it up before he jumps it. He would rather play it rail first if it's at all possible. Hard to tell from here, yeah.
Yeah, this is tough.
Oh, nice hit. Nice effort.
You know, that's got to be tough. I talk about how you really have to be so mentally fit. You know, because it was a mistake from Karl Boyes. Got away from it, and I mean, he comes back to the table, and everything's there for the taking now, and all Justin did is play a proper shot.
Right, right. Yeah, unlike the previous inning or visit to the table by Karl Boyes, this is his strength right here. Open balls like this where he can run them.
Yeah, just wants to guard against rolling too far. Doesn't want to be straight in on the 7.
Yeah, he came and take a look at what kind of angle he wanted to get. Some young players step up there and shoot and then go look. Well done. Stretch it over to the side cushion, take some of the pace out of the cue ball. Nice little rolling ball kill shot. Perfect on the 9.
Well, he's certainly got the beat going here. 5-1. Even his mistakes are not being punished. I think it's fair to say that Karl BOYES has had the benefit of the roll to this stage in the match. Still a long ways to go. It's a race to 11. And Justin Hall's got to stay positive in that chair.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know that Karl's really ahead on the rolls. He did get maybe a break or two, but Justin could too. It really is the unforced errors by Justin, I would say, is the difference. Here as we look on, Karl racking.
Yeah, tables, as the cloth gets more worn, it gets a little tougher to rack. I'll tell you what, Karl's tall, and this isn't easy on your lower back when you're leaning over the table like that for any length of time. So he's going to have to get himself in shape. Rack number 7. He needs 3 balls to pass the side pockets, the middle of the table, for it to be a legal break. Every ball pocketed counts as a ball having passed the sides.
Well, 2 ball dropped in at the last minute after it rattled around. I'm sure Karl would have rather it stayed up because he's now blocked on the 3.
And given that the players rack their own, if that 9 is pocketed into either of the 2 bottom corners near the rack, 9 is respotted. It's a successful break, but just not a winning break.
If it goes into the other 4 pockets, it is a win.
It is a win, yeah.
There's a break box either side of the head spot, 9 inches. One thing that you have to mention as we see Karl uses the extension here is the quality of the equipment. We're talking about Accu-Stats total performance averages being very high, but without superior equipment, these guys can't play the precision billiards that's required to score that high. We're routinely seeing scores in the 900s. Push out.
Well, he's standing there kind of looking at Justin.
Well, I don't blame Justin. I think Karl's going to have to kick underneath this and try to trickle the cue ball over behind those 2 balls. 6 and 7 on the far end of the table. It's easier to play this shot when you have no choice. I will say that. That's what Karl's measuring up. You don't want to come in too thin on the 3.
Yeah, you'd almost like to be hitting it where it's heading towards that side pocket.
A lot of left-hand side spin here.
That looks about as well done as he could have asked for.
Yeah, great shot. Things don't get easier, do they, Jim?
You know,
That's how you turn the table over.
yeah, but you can see Karl, even the way that he went back to his chair, it was almost an emphatic walk back to his chair, as if to say, well, you know what? I knew exactly what I was doing, and you didn't. It was almost like he won that little mini chess battle there with Justin, but he hasn't won it yet. Now he's won it.
Yeah, it was just Justin scrapes it going by. Maybe it could have turned out favorably. These are the games that are really match deciders, is taking care of business when you get the chance. Nothing fancy required here, but you do have to remain focused and then execute. You know, from a layout like he started ball in hand, what do you think, how often percentage-wise do these guys cash those games in?
You mean here? Or
Yeah, you know, starting with ball in hand.
At this level, with the balls in the open like that, I'd say 80 to 90%.
Yeah, I think, you know, the majority of the time, you don't have to do a lot fancy. You don't have to make a lot of hard shots. It's not missing the easy shots that wins matches.
I like watching players that take as much care with the easy ones as they do with the tough ones. They just maintain that very high level of concentration, which I think is required in the professional game. And you do need to be fit. You need to have that stamina. And Earl Strickland will tell you all about that. It's 4 games in a row for Karl, boys. And 6-1 is now his lead.
Yeah, some people wouldn't understand the level of fitness, but what fitness contributes to is your concentration and focus ability. It's very energy depleting to use your eyes and concentrate as hard as you have to play one of these matches. You cannot blink. We get a little look at the total performance average. Yeah, that tells the tale, doesn't it?
Yeah, the ball's pocketed is definitely the telltale sign of how one-sided this match is, 49 to 14.
That's the problem with the cut break right there. We've seen it all week. It can be wildly successful, but also it lets the cue ball trail one cushion towards the opposite side pocket.
Is Justin rooming with anyone, like another one of the possible Mosconi Cup candidates?
Not at this tournament. Quite often him and Justin Bergman are roomies. He did not hit that well. It doesn't do anything for your confidence when you miss-hit an open layout like that. Not that he can't handle it from here. I don't mean like that. Good shot. No. He's straight in. Things are just like pulling teeth here. They just won't fall on the right angle here, it seems like. Is he going forward or coming backward? Coming backward.
A much-needed rack win for Justin Hall. Well, if he can put a couple good breaks together and get himself back into this match with Karl, boys.
Justin Hall's brother, Preston, is the mayor of a little town out by me called Hamel. And Preston used to come to my pool room and take lessons. Justin, not so much. You know, he'd come once in a while, but Preston really was in the pool. And it kind of flip-flopped.
Next year will be the 40th anniversary of this event.
Hard to imagine. I remember when it was in Barry's pool room. I played in it a couple times. Luther Lassiter competed with us and was effective. And he was in his 60s, well into his 60s. Like that break, how well he controlled the cue ball. The ball fell in.
He's having a look to see, but there's just no value in going at this. I think he's got to try and duck here, Mark. And But that's the nature of youth, isn't it? You know, you really want to fire.
Yeah, these young fireballers, they're not all that fond of safety play, but they're also shrewd enough and smart enough to know the price of playing and making unforced errors. Not an easy place to play safe from either. I'm with you, Jim. If he's not going to get positioned on the two, there's no point to this. Yep. Beautiful.
Well, like we said, you got to have a go at this one. What a shot from Justin Hall there.
It was. That was his shot of the day right there. Now don't let up and cash it in. You had to play position for the two or it didn't have any value.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, like shots like that, they send messages, don't they, across to the seat. You know, the guy sat in that chair. You know, he sees you play a shot like that, and it's almost like you're showing no fear.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some value in that.
Yeah, you're right.
You were young once, Mark. You used to.
I was. I still feel 25. That's the funny thing.
You know, more importantly, you think it.
Yeah. These kids here, you know, I really care about all of them. And one of their great attributes, they have a very short attention span. So they don't even remember making a bad shot. They're all about getting on to making their next good one. They're not afraid to lose either. I like that. They don't come with excuses and they can laugh about it. And not right away. They're not giddy or anything, but they don't take themselves too seriously.
Yeah, hey, Mark, we talked about that the other day, didn't we? And that, for me, that's a huge attribute. You know, a lot of players play with that fear of losing in their back arm. You know, you've got to want to win. And what a performance that one was from Justin Hall. We thought he should have been playing safe. He saw it differently, and he's the one who's racking the balls.
You and I know that if you're going to err, don't go down playing a poor safety. You know, you're better off to play offense. Sometimes you get a backdoor safety out of it anyway, and you can win with it.
Tremendous shot that was on the one, and certainly worth another look.
The position play was difficult as well as the one. It wasn't just one aspect of this. He had to clear the 7. Like we were saying, there's no value. If you're not going after the 2, forget the 1. He went after both. Now it's one break and run out of the piece so far in the match. Good hit there.
Got the 3. He's on the 1. Everything's in the open.
7 ball still spinning.
Mr. Momentum has definitely changed seats. You know, not to hit another cliche, Mark, but he looks like a guy who's just been knocked to the mat, picked himself up, and got angry.
Mm-hmm. Oh, these kids got a lot of fight. They're so hungry for a title or an opportunity, you know. You know how limited they are in our sport. Three cushion position coming up.
Play the 7 to the same pocket. Well, slightly under hit. Just cut the 6 a bit thick. Now he's going to have to go across the table twice, and he's got to guard against that 9 ball still. He wanted to take that 9 ball out of the equation and play in position to the 8, and where he's left it, I'm not so sure he has. He should be able to get below that 9 as we speak, but again, a tougher 7 than he should have had.
In watching his matches, the last 4 or 5 matches that he's played, this is by far the crudest form of high-performance pool that he's portrayed. But this is good. I want to see him fight under a little adversity. It's inevitable, you know. It doesn't matter how good you are. You're going to have matches like this.
Well, if you're looking for character in your team, these are the times where it gets exposed. As the saying goes, Mark, pressure creates diamonds.
You know, the other side of that is that adversity doesn't build character, it reveals it. So you find out what a person's made of. You know, it's not something you conjure up. Either you got it or you don't.
Again, a great performance. Wasn't the easiest path to the finish line in this rack, but Justin Hall got there 3 in a row, from 6-1 to 6-4. And all of a sudden, the TPAs, the player averages, looking a lot tighter too. Well, I don't think Karl Boyes thought it was going to be an easy match against Justin Hall. He would have had a look at the draw and seen the sort of players that this man has taken out. And there are no easy matches this year in the U.S. Open. Every now and then, when it was a 256-player field, you get a lot of guys that were coming. They planned to watch the event, so they figured, I might as well play in it. You never know, I might get a soft draw. No more.
No, I should say not. And tons of names that play great that you've never heard of. Come from all over the globe.
easily the strongest contingent from Asia that we've seen at the U.S. Open as long as I've been here. 10 plus years that I've been doing the U.S. Open.
When you play in an event where Efren Reyes isn't the worst draw you can get, right? I mean, it's not that bad of a draw at this juncture.
Speaks volumes. Rack number 11. Wing ball.
Oh, a very fortunate kiss on the one. That's going to give him an opportunity. And look at the little bounce in the step at that.
He uses the same cue, so he doesn't employ a break cue.
Something that we haven't seen for a long time. Can't remember the last player that
broke with his playing cue.
Right. Looking pretty smooth. Does he have to deal with the 8-ball on this shot? Yeah. I think he feels like that 8-ball's a problem. If you have to power up and cheat the pocket a little bit, that pocket gets real snug real fast. Gonna stun this a little bit. No. Yep. Oh, great shot. Great shot. He had to force the angle a little bit there. 8-ball helped him. That wasn't good luck. That was good shooting. He's found his good game again, Jim.
He's found a rhythm, too. You already said it, Mark. He's sped up around the table. He's quicker. He's making his decisions with a lot more conviction. He's committing himself now to the shots.
Mm-hmm.
There's no more questions in his game.
When you see him come around 3 rails like that with that type of ball speed, you know he hit the previous shot pure. A couple times we saw him hit a little ragged and come up well short. Like that decision. He didn't try to do too much with the cue ball, just stay on angle. A little bit below center leads us towards the 8. That's all he needs. This would be his 3rd consecutive break and run out.
Starting to see what you like in this young man. 6'5". And he's just dipped ahead in the Accu-Stats averages as well. Just over 900 now.
Yeah, I bet those balls pocketed is pretty close now, too, by comparison to what we saw earlier.
That close enough for you?
48, 49, yeah. Figures. He's been hitting his break really, really well. I like it because he's not letting the cue ball go cross-side. You have to sweat that every time.
No, not this time, Justin.
Nice
4
run.
in a row it was. It was a nice string of racks he put together, and he certainly let Karl BOYES know that he's in the match.
always kind of funny, too, when you have say a 3 or 4 game lead, and then the guy hits you with a little barrage. Now you really feel like, boy, I got to do something, slow him down. I got to win a game here, and it puts a little extra pressure even though you're in the lead. Another thing I'd like to add is that 3 or 4 games with these guys is not much of a lead. It's a lead with the poorer players that have multiple innings. It's not much of a lead with guys that in one inning can get 3 or 4 games.
Yeah, you just saw an unforced error there from Karl BOYES, and for me, that's because Justin Hall has kept him away from the table. Like he had a wall of colors to hide behind there and overhit that. That's just a mistake that's been born out of not being at the table for about 10 minutes.
Justin maybe still has his good rhythm. This is that first shot of an inning that's always just a little more difficult than if you just pocketed a couple balls and have to play the same shot. Yep. I know that shot. This is not such a terrible shot for Karl to have to pocket. It's the positional requirements along with pocketing that makes it super tough. And if you shoot just a little split-minded, now it becomes imminently missable. You can scratch down the corner. You know that. And Karl recognizes there's a lot of problems here. Yeah. I even thought the way he settled into that was he was not committed.
If he does decide to attack this one ball, I think he's got to play this with speed to try and get the cue ball back. Maybe even with just a trace of right-hand spin as he looks and get the cue ball back up towards the middle of the table off 2 cushions. 3, actually.
I like this shot.
You decided to defend.
No, that was
a much better choice.
Good decision. I was just about to say I think he should bank at 2 cushions.
Yeah, there were, something. There were just more things that could go wrong with going at that one than there were that could go right.
Kicking it at the 7, soft speed. Oh, look at this play. Kick to the side of the ball. Oh, gorgeous shot. That was by design. Well played, well thought out. Didn't have to hit it heavy.
And he's bumped the 3 down the bottom end of the table. I don't know whether the 3 goes past the 8. If it doesn't, that's going to be a problem ball in this rack.
I think he's got something here. He's examining to see, yeah. He's confident he can get through there. No, he's not confident. Tricked me.
Key shot coming up right here.
Guess the 3 passes. Well, he got a little straight there, didn't he?
Great shot.
Well, he got a lot done with that shot.
Yeah, did he ever. And again, a knowledgeable crowd here in attendance. They recognize that he just in one shot developed the whole table. Oh, there had to be a let up there. I can't think of any other excuse. Do you remember me saying that you've got to take as much care and caution with the easy balls as you do with the tough ones?
Mm-hmm.
That might have been the best example right there.
He made such a good shot, and he bled off a bunch of energy, and he was still excited a little bit there. He even seemed like he flinched a little bit with that. He got a little out of his pace, the precise rhythm. Yeah. Second chance to look at this one. This was the great shot.
Yeah, he had to play it at speed and had to be perfectly judged to develop those balls and get up for position.
Karl has to take on a very tough combination. Look at that.
Just like that.
What a shot.
What should have been 6-6 is now 7-5.
What
that
a
one's
shot.
got to hurt.
Yeah, Karl's now taking his break.
Both players have re-entered the arena. Karl Boyes will break. It's rack number 13. He's got a 7-5 lead. And a miss that Justin Hall is going to have to try and forget. Boyes, the beneficiary in the last rack.
Good job there on the cut break.
Yeah, and everything has unfolded quite nicely for him, and Karl's got every chance to reestablish the 3-rack advantage.
Doesn't want to fall real straight here. Looks like he's going to have to power up a draw shot to get down here. Which means he did fall pretty straight. Good shot.
He's left himself pretty straight now. Not a lot of options. If you can get to the cushion just before the 4 and try and just pinch it a little bit and get out, but you know, that was the problem. He didn't play from the 1 to the 2 as nicely as would have been expected, and now he's left himself very awkward.
Good shot here is a power topspin. Oh, he went rail first. That's a better shot.
Yeah, he's retrieved it very nicely. As difficult as that might have looked, rail first. And now Karl back in prime position to secure this rack.
Here's a place where it's nice to be tall. Kind of got on the 50-yard line there. I think it's too bad. Wouldn't have minded an inch or two more or less.
Not perfect, but not bad.
Well, this is a medium challenging 9-ball. Short, 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 long on the last one. Very pure. Good speed.
$8-5. Back over 900 with his TPA.
Yeah, that was his second break and run out of the match.
Yeah, and again, you know, we hearken back to that miss from Justin Hall where it looked like it was going to go 6 apiece. And all of a sudden, he's staring at a 3-rack deficit again. No prizes for guessing what's going through his mind.
No, I think he's locked in. I don't think he's upset.
Yeah, that head shake means he's locked in, Mark.
Well, yeah, maybe his body language is not perfect, but that.
No, it's tough. It's you know, it's one thing we can sit here and commentate on what we think the players are feeling. You know them as well as anybody, no doubt about that. But boy, that's tough. A young player to try and forget that.
Yeah, like you said earlier, not only did Karl break and run out behind that, but then that was a game that he could have had. So really a 3-game swing and counting.
And a wayward cue ball. Even though a ball down on the break, Karl's going to be doing nothing with the 2-ball here. And 3 and 6 together up at the top end of the table. A little bit of an insurance policy, even if a mistake is made on the 2.
Ooh, I get the referee for this one. I think he stayed. I think this is such a way that I don't think Justin Hall can pocket the ball. Looks a little frightening anyway. Measuring it up. Is he shooting? So. Oh, great shot there.
Yeah, and you're saying even Karl BOYES has to acknowledge that. That came so close to double kissing, and that would have been disastrous. Well, in terms of leaving the 2, like I said, the 3 is still not easy to drop onto. But that was a very good shot from Justin.
Yeah, that was some of his one-pocket specialty there. Karl would like that. I think he should just try to mass A rail first and just tick it and let the cue ball go towards the 7. Hope to get some clutter down there in the way. He's considering up and down the table. Probably the best shot. Well, okay, J. Hall, you're going to have to make some magic happen now.
Can you make this one in the top left corner, Mark, and get him behind the 3 to play the 3 into the corner that he's standing nearest? Does that angle look like it presents itself?
Not easily, because it means you'd have to manipulate the cue ball a bit, which increases the difficulty of pocketing it. I really wouldn't object if you just went one cushion at the 3, and if you didn't get anything, then try to defend yourself from there. That being said, he'll probably play it your way and play it perfectly.
Well, you know what? Like I said, it's tough to tell what angle is out there. No, he's gone at the 3, but you knew he was going to take the aggressive path, and he's opened the 3 up. And he's not left Karl anything easy.
No, not at all. Karl will have to rely on his pocketing skills now. You know, one great thing, and these matches are so interesting, but I have a little bit different vested interest. You can hit balls in the practice facility all you want, but this is much better training ground. You know, you really see where we're at.
On the job training.
Mm-hmm. Oh boy. Oh boy, what a hit.
I definitely think Justin's had a better break of the two. If he can clear up these remaining 6 colors and secure the break again, I think he's a little more capable of stringing racks together than Karl is. Just like his break a bit better, Mark.
Oh yeah. It's definitely one of his strengths. See how long his bridge is here? Doesn't hurt him most of the time, but when you get familiar with that and then you need that extra precision, you're out of your element from playing it so long. You're only going to use a short swing.
Pulls one back. We'll see if he can put a few breaks together.
Yeah, he opened that rack with a great shot.
He was forced to jack up and go around the angles to get back for the 3. And he had to miss all the traffic.
Yeah, that's why he had to elevate. He had to kind of jump it around there. A little stun. That complicates accuracy quite a little bit.
He's been doing this a lot. Just maybe a little tight in the shoulder area. Cue ball just got kicked. Otherwise, it would have been sitting pretty nice where the 1 is. I don't know whether he can cut this back. And if he can, it's a nice angle to get over towards the 2.
Now you'd have to hit it super thin. That cue ball's going to come off mighty hot.
Obviously, the safety would be pretty easy to duck behind the 7. Would he consider trying to? Well, he might be trying to cut this in.
Mm-hmm. You going to try to spin it?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I bet he thought that was in. I did.
As a question to you, Jim, on your personal game, a lot of snooker players have tip right up to the cue ball, short, and then on the last backswing, they draw back that length. How about you?
Same.
Same.
Yeah, just a waggle. And then pull back, pause, let my eyes go back to the object ball, and then pull the trigger. That's what the pause. There was a very good, very, almost like a legendary snooker coach in the UK, Frank Callan, his name was. Taught Alison Fisher, worked with Steve Davis, and he was hired exclusively to teach Stephen Hendry. And he used to call it the drill. And I actually have his book as well. Mark, next time, as a matter of fact, Blackpool, I will bring it with me. And Frank is from the Blackpool area. I don't know if, he'd have to be getting on 80 plus years of age now. I don't know if he's still with us, but what a great man he was. But he used to call it the drill. And he would have players aligning themselves as they walk into the shot. And then pulling the cue back and accentuating the pause to allow time for your eyes to go back to the object ball before you pull the trigger.
Yeah, anybody who's worked with the stable of players that he has, I've been on his website before.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
very interesting guy.
They went looking for him. Lifted his head. He was up off the cue, halfway through the stroke. And Justin Hall has to burn that one into his memory banks.
That's one of the first open balls we've really seen Karl miss in this match. I believe he maybe had a tough ball that he might have missed earlier. But that one was very gettable.
Yeah, it just looked like he peaked on it a bit.
Yeah, no such thing as an easy shot. Particularly when you're trying to place the cue ball somewhere. Something these good players do, it's really interesting, is that they hit the balls with a pace so that they don't have to try to manipulate the cue ball. They just use the pace that freely makes the ball, and then they kind of settle along as they're on an angle. I know Alex Pagulayan's like that, and Dennis, he hits a lot of balls with, you could vary the pace and get it in, but there's a certain pace that makes the ball play easier. Justin Hall seems to have found that quite often this week.
He certainly opened a lot of eyes. For those of you that may not have known this young man's prowess on the Blue Bays, you know it now. And he, as I said, he has accounted for some scalps en route to this match. Handful of world champions, former world champions, and he's looking to take out another one here. Karl Boyes still one rack ahead, 8-7. Mark, this has all the makings of going right down to the wire, one rack to decide it.
Stats 865 each. Yeah, coming up on this table will be another spectacular match.
Cool.
Coolio and Van Boning, winners bracket action. I believe they're in the top four on the winner's side.
Final of 2 years ago. And Shane ran over him. It was like a man playing with a boy.
Well, that's not necessarily indicative of the opponent's skill set.
No,
That's
not
more
at all.
the
It's just
opportunities.
It was just Shane in full gear, and there was no one that was going to beat him 2 years ago. No one beat him last year.
No one's beat him this year. As a matter of fact, he's still going.
Yeah, what a threat he is for 3 in a row. And he is the favorite. Make no mistake about it.
This will be tough, though. See how much care and the aim and preparation. I love this part of it, because the worst thing you can do is miss-hit the cue ball and dunk it in the side. Much like Tiger Woods lining up a tee shot. He puts a lot of care into that, and Justin Hall does with his break.
Mark, you're a prophet. It's gotta. I mean, I just can't believe you called for dunking the white in the side, and it was almost like he heard you.
You know what? I have not seen him do it one time this tournament.
No, he's been hitting the break superbly.
Not just in this match, all his matches, he's just run away with it. Boy, it's really been good. I guess it was time for the law of averages to kick in.
Well, welcome to the commentator's curse.
All right. I've never seen Karl Boyes fail to get out from here. How about that? And in all sincerity, I'm not pulling against Karl. I love to watch great pool. If he can play great pool, I'm all for it. I'll clap.
Just got to be a little mindful here of how he plays this.
You can get behind the 9 if you don't do it just right.
And he knew he was going to be near that left cushion.
7 ball's a big ball here. Creating havoc in your mind. Yeah, I'm not sure what he's going to do. He's queuing up as if he's going to topspin. He's moved his tip a couple of different ways. Oh, good job.
Seven-9 combination will be the only offer into the left-hand corner. Now he may have no choice. Think he can draw this back and stay on the left-hand side of the table?
No, I don't think he can stay on that side. He can play a billiard on the 9 that way.
Yeah, he's going to have no choice then to try and get towards the middle of the table, play the 7-9.
Not 3 cushions around? That's no way? Or
I don't think he's got
pretty
enough
flat?
angle, Mark.
Okay. Yeah, he's using draw. Yeah, good job. Going to be online for that combination.
Yeah, he couldn't have put the cue ball any better.
Last combination like this, he hit pure. He kind of moved his head over there. That was odd. Like I said, Karl always gets out from there.
Just cleaning off the cue ball a little bit. Very small difference in balls pocketed now. Errors, good number of errors, and I think that's why their TPAs are below 900. I mean, anything 900 and better is terrific. Where they're at is probably pretty close to that average at this level. Now, between 8 and 900 from what I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
Well, surprising for me, the success on the breaks. Karl with 7 successful breaks and Justin only with 5. I would have thought Justin was breaking better.
Two ball trickling. Karl willing it to go in. Makes quite a difference.
And he was pointing to the 8 as well, hanging in the jaws of the pocket. But this is pretty inviting. A chance for Karl to get to the hill.
To me, it's always entertaining to see how they play position on the secondary object ball, which will be the 1 ball in this case. Looks like it'd be pretty thin for cutting it.
Now he's in attack mode here. You can tell he's going to try and bank this one into the opposite corner. He caught me up there. He must have heard me. He saw his eyes. And he certainly fooled me. But he's played that about as well as he could if he wanted to defend. And only time will tell if it was the right decision. A lot of players might have taken the bank on there, Mark. Could have played it with position, but pretty hard to argue with.
Yeah, this result is ideal. There's nothing that would have been better than this. Bank, you can sell out with it even if you try to play a proper speed. Crowd kind of likes it. Oh, he's hooked.
Told you should have gone for the bank.
Yeah, that is sometimes how you feel after somebody does this to you, after you play an ideal shot just the way you wanted it. Safeties don't win games. They just get you back to the table.
Sometimes.
Sometimes. Trying to go to the side cushion first? And he go ball first. He could go ball first. Boy, that was a good shot. Trying to move the cue ball any more than that was too risky. Yeah, very subtle positive result there.
Looking to take advantage of that break that came at a very opportune time in this match. I'm not sure what he was doing there, but he got up off the cue awful quick. As soon as he released it, almost like he knew he mishit it as soon as he hit the ball. It looked like all he had to do was just trickle a 4 in, and he would have laid the 5 into the other corner pocket. Gosh, I'm really scratching my head about that one as well. And my co-commentators hit the mute button. Mark, the Mosconi Cup isn't here yet.
Well, just got to man up and cut this in. Nothing more to it, Justin. Don't worry about position. I would just go straight topspin. Don't care for that bridge at all, even though he'll probably make it. I'm glad he's taking his time, though, and this is the time to use your extension. I like this bridge a little better.
Now, what a shot.
Yep.
He's not out of the woods yet, though. He needs another good one here.
You ever heard of whistling by the graveyard? You know what that is?
No.
That means if you're afraid, you whistle like you're not. And this, I'd think, well, I'm not going to win the tournament. If I can't make this, I'm not going to win the tournament anyway. You know what I mean? And then when you make it, you get a little bonus of like confidence, like, I'm supposed to win this tournament.
I like it.
Yeah.
Whistling by the graveyard. Great recovery. When it looked like things had got a bit sideways. Well, that one most assuredly deserves some applause. Very close in our score line, TPAs, just about every statistic that we log. I think is going to be not much to choose between these two.
This has truly been a very fun match because it's had a lot of play to it.
Yeah, we've had our share of mistakes. Both players have taken the timeouts at times when you might have felt like they were trying to take a psychological advantage away from the table. And as I said, both pretty young in terms of what the game is giving us nowadays. So many legends in attendance here at the U.S. Open. These guys looking to build their reputations by virtue of this event.
Two-thirds of a pocket as we look on. Available for the one. He's pretty close range, so we know he will be aggressive. When you throw the positional requirement in here, that really complicates this. Oh, yeah. They all. I don't know if he was committed to that or he just missed it.
It might not have been as much pocket as what that camera angle gave us.
Yeah.
It might have been a bit deceptive from our perspective.
I think particularly when you talk about getting on the three.
Yeah.
But he didn't really, it just didn't seem like he was committed to that shot. It wasn't really a close miss. It's also a very complex shot to play a combination of that nature.
It looks like he's left position in the lap of the gods the way he played this.
Yep. Yeah, there's a lot of play left in this rack.
A lot of play left in this match. And unless Karl can come up with a pretty good reply on this one.
Guess he's looking at the two-cushion kick behind it. Probably the right shot, but it's still a long ways from the rail. It's going to be very iffy regarding the outcome. We're certain he's going to hit it. Well, now he's looking like he's going right at the one. Lifted up off it like he wasn't sure. Is he thinning it? No. Huh. Interesting. Do you back cut the one, try to glide heavy in the seven, stop it there?
Personal preference. I mean, just depends which angle you think you see better. In the seven, if he does play the one into the corner he's looking at now, he can follow through. The seven's going to hold for position to the three. Hold the cue ball. So he'll be able to cue at the spotted white level. Tough shot though, Mark.
I really don't mind if he plays it over past the nine with a little high left and just kind of check it up off the end rail, go to the side cushion. He does not look interested in doing that. Certainly couldn't criticize his shot selection. And good execution there. Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
That went right into the throat of that pocket. And there was a lot of pressure on that ball.
Kind of an awkward angle, though. You can't just go full on draw, and almost a stun draw a little bit here. Oh, he hit that good. He hit that real good. Okay, well, this makes it more exciting.
(6-1), Karl Boyes led at one stage in this match. And it looks right now like they're going to be deadlocked at 9 racks apiece. And I think that's got to put Justin Hall in a pretty positive frame of mind. I can tell you, folks, my co-commentator just looked to the heavens there. That was a little closer than he would have liked to have seen.
Well, he played it. I don't mean like that, but this is still, this would be my bugaboo. Be paralyzed and get into the end rail. Tough shot. Tough shot.
He left himself a little bit too much to do. He should have been a lot closer to that 8. Should have been a lot easier shot than what it was. Hindsight's always 20/20, but when you get down to the business end of the match, such as this, everything's under the magnifying glass. You want it as easy as possible. (10-8). When it looked for every reason like it was going to be 9 apiece with Justin Hall breaking. Well, as you said, Mark, the match has given us everything. You know, it's almost been an emotional roller coaster. We've had a lot of misses, some great shots, great positional play. And Karl Boyes will be racking and breaking for the last time in the match. And whichever one of these players goes through to stay alive in this tournament, I think they're going to be able to look back at the number of chances they had and let go.
See if Karl goes to the cut break. That's where he's been all match. He did. Made a ball. Made another ball.
Well, he's got a cut on the one.
Yeah. A little sip of water. Take a time. Collect yourself. I don't know that he can do much as far as maneuvering the cue ball. He may have to just let the cue ball sail down the table between the 4 and 5, back up to the center. Probably going to use the extension here too, wisely. Got a little heavy. Well, this is good. This is good. I don't think you can play position here. It's so thin. I think you should let the cue ball go to the inside of the 9, understanding that you might not come out of it with position. Try to let the cue ball come down between the 5 and 9. You can clip off the 9 and get position. You can also get to a position where you might have to play safe, but you would have control of the table. just tough enough of a shot that it's hard to play position from. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. You don't have to sentence yourself to shoot if you don't like it.
Well, he's queuing up like he's going to go with this. Try and pull the cue ball over to the left-hand cushion and back over for the 3.
Looked away again for the ball. That's interesting.
I mean, at no time did I like that shot. I didn't even like that shot from the commentary box.
Yeah.
And we never missed a shot from here.
You should raise that.
That just reeked of desperation to me.
But he's not desperate, really. I think it was more confusion that he just didn't know of a better choice.
Well, there had to be a better one than that. Because the way that he elevated and tried to play that, I mean, I might let him have that shot 4 or 5 times.
Hey, this isn't really the stage of the game to
It's
take
all
a
about
flyer.
percentages, isn't it, Mark? When you're looking at shots and you know, obviously there's no point in taking the risks if the rewards aren't there. That's really what this game is all about. It's a risk. It's like life. It's like a risk to reward ratio that you have to work out.
As good as Justin's broke, you know, you have to think he's got a chance to get this game and break and run too.
Oh, absolutely I do. I mean, that last shot that Karl played for me, I just see a man who's trying to completely break stride to get over the finish line.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well said. That was a nice shot there too.
I'd like to draw your attention to table number 5, this matchup on the one-loss side. Please welcome back 7-time Canadian national champion from Bloomington, Illinois, Mr. Jason Platt. Jason Platt, table number 5. And this opponent is player representative for Tiger Tips from the Republic of the Philippines, Mr. Warren Piemko. Warren Piemko Platt, table number 5. On table 6, Mike Shane awaits the outcome of the TV matchup. On deck on Accu-Stats table, Dennis O'Cleo and Shane Van Boening on the women's side.
Rack number 20 will be coming up. And 21 were scheduled in this match. Even though Justin is trailing by that odd frame, that odd rack, he's just in front with the TPA.
Tell you what's pretty cool too is all his teammates are out there. You can hear them in the background cheering him on. That's cool. Yeah, this has been a long match, but not a boring match. You know, we've had matches before where they were just really even hard to commentate because they were hideous and messy. Yeah. This one, it's had so many twists and turns of interest.
And again, racking the 9 on the spot, as has been the case all week. It's created a few different scenarios for these players and how they've decided to attack the break. Justin going with the traditional, almost like the sledgehammer break, full ball 1, and Whereas most players that we've seen have gone with the cut break, like Karl.
Yeah, you've seen very little of the head-on break. Very little of it.
My back's getting sore watching him.
Yeah, I wonder if the cue ball's a little bit further, or the one ball's a little further up, it's probably even more of a strain, really. You know, I've never tried it.
Yeah, and you're holding that position. Your legs are straight, so all the pressure is in your lower back. That's where the strain is.
I'll try a little ball rearrangement. Another thing that's really good is if you take your hand and rough up the cloth just a little bit.
Yeah, showing a lot of patience there. And he likes what he's given himself, and he desperately needs a good break here.
Yeah, I'm not saying anything about the break.
Once again, quick again, please, for Jason Platt and Warren Camco, they're getting in the way of the 5.
Square hit.
How perfect is this?
Yeah. I appreciate a good square hit on the break because I have kind of a weak ticker here. Not much in the mood to watch it dance around by the side.
You're gonna have a few more gray hairs after Blackpool, I think.
It's going to be fun.
Man, you know, Karl may not get out of his chair again.
Okay. Let's like to get that cue ball back out to the center of the table here.
Steve or Paul, you guys in the room, we get to table number 6 right now.
Yep. Well, that's awkward to reach now. He's fine.
Just slightly overhit that. 4 or 5 inches back towards the center would have been ideal. Well, Justin's kind of gone for a little stroll.
Yeah, I usually have some good suggestions. I'm not sure on this one at all.
Yeah, it looks like you can just play straight follow.
And two cushions?
Yeah, just float it in even, one cushion.
I don't know if you can hold the cue ball that well, can you?
That's what he's looking at, the path the cue ball is going to take. It should miss the 7, just drop off that side cushion between the 7 and the side pocket. Always tough to tell. Well, he's played it at speed, Mark.
What a nice shot that was.
Yeah, no kidding.
This is for sure two cushion position. Okay, good shot. Just a little dab of left.
Well, this has to be just what the Mosconi Cup captain wanted to see.
This would be his fourth break and run out of the match.
You want to see what your players are made of, Mark.
Yeah.
Because if they can handle this kind of pressure, well, there's every chance they're going to look pretty good when they hop on that plane and head across the Atlantic. 10-10. Karl Boyes, Justin Hall. Again, just to remind you, Karl Boyes led 6-1 at one stage, and then Justin came back with a 4-pack. Got back to 6-5, then 8-5 it went to Karl Boyes. And then Karl led 10-8 as well. That's when that little touch of desperation, for me, took hold of his back arm. And all of a sudden, 10-10.
One thing you know, the adrenaline is flowing heavily through his veins, and it's exciting because you want to win so bad. You care that much, so of course you're nervous. But that's the essence of sport. You know, when you're tingling, you know you're alive. You know you're playing a match, and these guys live on the edge all the time. So
this is what they play for.
Yep.
You know, moments like this, and to succeed in moments like this.
10-10. When you're in the Philippines, you know what they say? Decision game. Everybody loves it. They all clap. One of the things that makes pool so compelling is if you know the characters and what these things mean to them and their background and have watched them and known them, know their little idiosyncrasies. Adds so much to it.
Well, Justin's the only one of the two that has had a hill-hill match. His very first one of the tournament against Al Howry. He survived 11-10.
Karl with a little cursory inspection. Ask tournament director Jay Helfer to inspect. Okay. Looks like we got action now.
This is good. Let's see if this is good.
Our tournament director likes it. Let's see if Justin does. I like the fact they can have a good laugh about it too, because at the end of the day, it is a game.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't have Ebola or anything here. It's win or lose. It's just a game. Have some fun. This one thing we talk about. Very good break. Well, if Karl want to try to use inside spin, you can scratch very easily. I don't think you will. Too much risk for not enough reward. I don't know. Not much here. Not much here. Last time Karl got confused, he shot at it.
But I don't see how he can make this without spinning the cue ball.
Yeah, right, no. And spinning the cue ball would be way too risky.
Maybe about a half ball hit. Try and take the cue ball between 2 and 5 up the far end of the table.
Yep. I think that's what he's playing too. Well, Justin will have a play. I don't think he has offense here. But might be able to just stop it.
Yeah, he can put Karl in a bit of trouble. That was a pretty lax effort from Karl, boys. And I say that really.
I would like to amend what I said. He can use top spin because it gives him a lot more control of the one. He can get the one down the far rail, maybe a little high left, and try to just let the 2-ball interfere. 9 feet of travel. I like this shot. Yes. Okay. Wow. All right. That's championship pool right there, my friend.
Well, I wonder if Karl took notes where that 1-ball hit, because he's going to be going at this the same way.
Right now, Justin doesn't need to be involved in what Karl's doing. He needs to be bolstering his mindset for what he's going to do when he returns to the table. He's here to run out. All these strokes. Some kind of a positive mental framework here. Because it's easy to get wrapped up in the moment. See the immensity of it. Great shot. Great hit.
These guys are enjoying it out there. You know it.
Yeah, sure.
Is he looking at the 1-2 here? It looks like it's.
Yeah, he does.
I mean, he's getting down. What else would he be looking at?
I don't know.
How do you feel, Captain? How do you feel about him taking this?
I think he's putting the 1 on the 2 and the 4 behind it. No, he played it. Oh, did he get a shot? He did. Okay, that was a good one.
That was a great one, Mark.
Well, I need to powder up here myself.
Yeah, listen, given the state of this match, I can't say enough about that shot and the courage it took to play it.
Courage it took for me to watch it. You know, I think he can play center left. Center left and drag it just behind the side pocket. That's all he needs.
I'm looking at the faces of the people looking on, and they're all kind of frowning. They're wondering, what about this then, Justin? What are you doing here?
Boy, this is a big shot right here.
Oh, it's everything here.
Yeah, if he could just get back on the other side of the table, however, especially if he could get back between the 6 and the side pocket.
Yeah, and if you overcut it, then that side pocket does loom big.
Yes, it does. You tend to hit it heavy, though, using left when you miss. He's going low. So that means he's going to go soft and just let the spin grab. Oh, boy. Kind of flinched at it. You have to play another combination? Oh. 2/3 of a pocket.
You're killing your captain, Justin.
No, this is good stuff here.
I'll tell you what, that was a pretty good shot. And one thing about it, Mark, you'd rather be shooting this than in your chair watching,
Oh, yeah.
regardless of how tough it looks.
This is just top spin. You don't try to do anything cute with the cue ball. Just roll it.
Gutsy shot. Gutsy effort.
All right, no, you're fine, Justin. Up in the corner.
I think he was worried it was going to sit right on top of the 9. His heart probably skipped a beat there.
Wait, right when he got in line, he went right back out of line. You can get down and cue this well, though.
Character building moments, Mark. And you know it. Perfect. This young
Great
man's
shot.
got a fan in me, a new fan in me. First time I've had a chance to see him play, and I am suitably impressed. 11-10, a terrific win over Karl BOYES. Justin Hall, remember the name. He is still alive in the 39th U.S. Open. And next up, it'll be Dennis Urculio and Shane Van Boning, the defending champion and our finalists from 2 years ago. And I'm letting you know, a very happy and relieved Mark Wilson. Thanks, Mark. I don't think you're going to be going far. We'll see you for the next one.
Yeah. Here's Shane. I'm going to have to calm down a little bit right now. Well, good night, everybody. We'll see you in just back in a few minutes.